In my earlier presentation, I have given an introduction about the photosynthesis, in which we have known that photosynthesis consists of two phases. The first phase is the light phase, in which the energy from the sunlight is absorbed and converted to chemical energy, and this chemical energy is stored in form of ATP and NADPH2. So this first phase is light dependent reaction, or they are also called as light reaction. Whereas in the second phase, the carbohydrates are synthesized from the carbon dioxide using the energy stored in ATP and NADPH2. So this second phase, the reactions in the second phase are called as light independent reaction, or this phase is also called as carbon fixation phase. Arnold and his associates were first to show that isolated chloroplast can produce ATP when exposed to light. That is, the adenosine diphosphate combines or reacts with an inorganic phosphate in presence of light and chlorophyll and forms the adenosine triphosphate or ATP. They call this phosphorylation as photophosphorylation, as it occurs in presence of light. The chlorophyll molecule absorbs photons and liberates the electrons. These electrons pass through a number of electron carriers and liberate energy. The energy so liberated by the electrons is utilized for the synthesis of ATP and reduction of NADP to NADPH2. The photophosphorylation are of two types. The first is the cyclic photophosphorylation, and second is the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. First, I will be discussing about the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. In non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the electrons that are liberated from the chlorophyll A molecule do not return back to the same chlorophyll A molecule. These electrons are terminally accepted by the NADP, which get reduced to NADPH2. So, in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the flow of electron is unidirectional. And in this, photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 both they take part. So first, the photosystem 2 absorbs the light energy from the sunlight, and its reaction center, which is a chlorophyll A P680 molecule, gets excited and gets excited. Then it liberates the one electron. This electron is then accepted by pheophytin. As the reaction center loses one electron, it becomes unstable. So, the loss of the electron causes the P680 molecule to become positively charged, and it then attracts electrons from the water molecule. Thus, the water molecule splits in presence of sunlight into the protons, the oxygen atom, and also it liberates two electrons. So, the splitting of water in presence of sunlight is called as photolysis of water. So, during the photolysis of water, the electrons which are liberated are transferred to the pheophytin. This pheophytin then transfers these two electrons to the quinone cycle, in which first the plastoquinone accepts the two electrons from the pheophytin, and simultaneously it also accepts four protons from the stroma of chloroplast and gets reduced to plastoquinol. The plastoquinol immediately gets excited by releasing the electrons, and it also these electrons are then accepted by cytochrome B6. Simultaneously, the plastoquinol also liberates the 4 protons. These 4 protons are liberated in the lumen of the thylakoids, and then these protons are utilized for the formation of the ATP, and by liberation of the electrons and the protons, the plastoquinone gets oxidized again to plastosemiquinone. Now, from cytochrome B6, the 2 electrons are transferred to cytochrome F, and from cytochrome F, the 2 electrons are transferred to plastocyanine. As this electron transfer is taking place through the photosystem 2, the photosystem 1 also absorbs the sunlight, and its reaction center, which is a chlorophyll A P700 molecule, gets excited and it liberates the 2 electrons. Now the chlorophyll A P700 as it loses the electrons, becomes unstable, so it drags the 2 electrons from the plastocyanine and gets stabilized. So the 2 electrons which are released from the chlorophyll A molecule are first accepted by a iron sulfur protein, which transfers these 2 electrons to the ferredoxin. The ferredoxin then transfers these 2 electrons to NADP. The NADP accepts 2 electrons from the ferredoxin, and also it takes the 2 protons which were released during the photolysis of water and gets reduced to NADPH2. So during non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the electrons which are liberated from photosystem 2 are carried through different electron carriers, and ultimately these 2 electrons are accepted by NADP, which forms NADPH2. So during non-cyclic photophosphorylation, during the transfer of each pair of electrons, one ATP is synthesized by the quinone cycle, and one NADP is reduced to NADPH2. One atom of oxygen is liberated, and during this process, water is the electron donor and NADP is the electron acceptor. So, during non-cyclic photophosphorylation, for the release of 1 molecule of oxygen, 2 water molecules are oxidized, which will provide 4 electrons, and these 4 electrons are used to reduce 2 NADP to 2 NADPH2, and during this transfer of electrons, 2 ATPs are synthesized. So to produce the 2 ATPs, 2 water molecules are split and 2 NADP2 are formed during the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Now I will be discussing about the cyclic photophosphorylation. In this, only photosystem 1 participates, and the electron which are liberated from the chlorophyll A molecule do not return to the same they return to the same chlorophyll A molecule, hence it is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. This cyclic photophosphorylation is common in the algae and the photosynthetic bacteria, and it is very rare in the higher plants. So in the cyclic photophosphorylation, as I told, only photosystem 1 participates. So its reaction center absorbs the reaction center, that is chlorophyll A P700 molecule, absorbs the sunlight and gets excited and releases the electron, and this electron is accepted by the ferredoxin. From ferredoxin, this electron is transferred to cytochrome B6, and from cytochrome B6 this electron again participates in the quinone cycle, in which the electron is first accepted by the plastosemiquinol, which also takes the protons from the stroma of the chloroplast and get reduced to plastoquinol, and this plastoquinol immediately liberates the electron and also the proton into the lumen of the thylakoids and gets oxidized to plastosemiquinol. And from the electron that is released from the plastoquinol is transferred to cytochrome F, and from cytochrome F the electron is transferred to the plastocyanin, and from the plastocyanin the electron again reaches the chlorophyll A P700 molecule. So in cyclic photophosphorylation, what we observe is that the electron which is liberated from the chlorophyll A P700 molecule is transferred through various electron carriers, and ultimately again it reaches the same chlorophyll A molecule. So during the cyclic photophosphorylation, the electrons that are transferred do not come from the water, because water is not oxidized during cyclic photophosphorylation, and as water is not oxidized, the oxygen is not released, and because there is no hydrogen protons present here, so there is no formation of NADPH2, and ATP is formed again during the quinone cycle.